The great dragon Kael'thar had survived 100 battles. His silver scales were cracked and scarred, each mark telling a story of fire and war. Humans once feared him, but now, after the long peace treaty, he lived quietly among the Allied colonies. One evening, while returning from a patrol flight, Kael'thar felt a small itch under his left wing. He thought it was nothing, maybe a scratch from flying through the storm clouds. But over the next few days, the spot began to grow darker. It pulsed faintly, like something alive beneath the scale. Kael'thar ignored it. Dragons were proud creatures. They didn't run to human doctors for every scratch. But at night, strange dreams began to haunt him. Flashes of burning skies, screams of humans, and a whisper calling his name from deep inside the mark. When he finally agreed to let a human medic inspect him, it was already too late. Dr. Alara Quinn, a young human nurse stationed at the frontier base, had never treated a dragon before. She approached carefully, her scanner trembling in her hand. As the device passed over the mark, it started beeping wildly. "What is it?" Kael'thar rumbled. Alara stared at the screen. Her eyes widened. "That's not an infection," she whispered. "It's something inside you." The dragon's massive golden eye narrowed. "Inside me?" The scanner flashed red, and then the mark moved. The base alarm suddenly blared as the scanner short-circuited in Alara's hands. Sparks flew, and the screen turned black. Kael'thar winced. The mark under his wing began to glow faint red, pulsing like a second heartbeat. "Step back," he growled. But Alara didn't move. She was frozen in shock, staring at the mark. It wasn't just light. It was forming symbols, ancient runes that no human language could translate. Alara whispered, This isn't biological. It's technology." Kael'thar's massive tail twitched. "What do you mean?" Before she could answer, the base lights flickered. Every nearby monitor turned on by itself, showing lines of alien code. A strange humming filled the air, low, powerful, alive. Kael'thar's scales rippled as if something inside him was waking up. He roared in pain. The sound shook the entire hangar. Soldiers rushed in, weapons raised, but Alara shouted, "Don't shoot. He's not attacking." The dragon collapsed on one knee, smoke rising from the mark. Then, in a deep, otherworldly voice, not his own, Kael'thar spoke words that chilled every heart in the room. Protocol 09 reactivation in progress. Host integrity, 97%. Alara's eyes widened. "Host? That's impossible. He's hosting something?" Kael'thar opened his eyes. They were no longer gold. They glowed with shifting red light. "Alara," he said in a hollow tone. "Something inside me remembers you." The nurse stepped back, terrified yet drawn closer by curiosity. "Remembers me? I've never." Suddenly, the mark burst open with a blinding flash, and a holographic projection appeared. A map of unknown worlds, and at its center, a human face from centuries ago. Alara's heart stopped. It was her ancestor, Dr. Mara Quinn, a scientist lost during the First War of Dragons. The voice from Kael'thar's chest echoed once more. Mara Quinn's failsafe activated. The seed awakens. The hangar was silent except for the humming sound from the hologram. The glowing figure of Dr. Mara Quinn floated above the floor, a woman in an old Earth scientist uniform, her face calm yet filled with warning. Kael'thar's breathing slowed. The strange light inside his chest flickered in rhythm with the hologram. Alara's hands trembled as she whispered, "That's her, my great-grandmother. But she died over 200 years ago." The hologram turned its head and looked straight at Alara, as if it could see her through time. "If you are seeing this," Mara's voice said softly, "then the seed has survived. The dragons will remember. Humanity must not repeat its mistake." Alara's heart raced. "What seed? What mistake?" she asked aloud. Kael'thar groaned. His wings twitched. The mark was spreading. Glowing lines now ran along his neck and chest like veins of fire. He could feel memories that were not his own. Ancient skies, battles fought before the stars were charted, and humans standing beside dragons as allies, not enemies. Mara Quinn, the dragon rumbled, his voice layered with echoes. She created something inside us. Alara turned to him. Created? You mean she did this to your kind? The hologram shifted, showing scenes of the past. Dragons flying over massive cities, protecting humans from alien invaders. Then, the image changed. Humans building weapons, turning on their dragon allies. Fire, betrayal, silence. When humanity feared extinction, Mara said, "We hid our greatest hope within the dragons. A living archive, a seed of memory. Only when the bond between man and dragon is reborn will the seed awaken." The message began to glitch. Static filled the air. Alara shouted, "Wait! What bond? How do we?" The hologram shattered like glass, and Kael'thar roared in agony. The mark on his chest expanded, forming a pattern, like a circuit, glowing with unbearable light. From the shadows above, a deep voice echoed through the hangar speakers. "So, the last seed has awakened. Begin the extraction." Alarms went off again. Red lights flashed. Outside the base, something massive moved beneath the clouds. Alara looked up, fear in her eyes. "That's not a storm." Kael'thar spread his wings, his voice low and heavy with rage. "No, it's them, the ones who killed my kind." Thunder shook the ground as the clouds tore apart. From the darkness above, massive shapes began to descend, long, sharp, and metallic. They looked like dragons at first glance, but they were not alive. Their wings were made of steel, their eyes glowed blue, and their roars sounded like engines. Alara stepped closer to the hangar window, her breath fogging the glass. "They're machines." Kael'thar's chest burned brighter. "Not machines," he growled. "Copies." The robotic dragons circled the base, their scanners locking onto Kael'thar's heat signature. One of them spoke in a metallic voice. "Target confirmed. Seed host detected. Capture alive." Missiles launched from their sides, streaking toward the hangar. Kael'thar's instincts took over. He roared, unleashing a wall of blue flame that met the rockets midair. The explosion lit up the night sky like a new sun. Soldiers ran for cover. Alarms screamed. Alara grabbed her comm device. "Central Command. We're under attack. Unknown mechanical life forms." Static answered her. The signal was jammed. Kael'thar turned to her, his voice rumbling. "Alara, you must leave. They're here for me." She shook her head. "No. If they take you, whatever your kind were protecting will be gone forever." The dragon's eyes softened for a moment. Just a flicker of old sadness. "You sound like her. Like Mara Quinn." Before Alara could answer, the roof tore open with a deafening crash. One of the metal dragons plunged through, landing hard on the hangar floor. Its wings folded with a hiss of steam, and its head twisted toward Kael'thar. Its voice was cold and precise. "You are obsolete, Kael'thar. The age of flesh and flame has ended." Kael'thar's scales glowed, energy building inside him. "Then let me remind you," he said, spreading his wings wide, "why dragons were never meant to be forgotten." He charged, colliding with the metal dragon in a storm of fire and steel. Sparks flew, claws tore through armor, and the sound of battle shook the entire base. Alara ducked behind a console as debris rained down. She saw a flicker on a nearby monitor. A signal, faint but real, coming from deep beneath the base. The text read, "Mara protocol active. Sublevel access required." She looked up at the raging fight above her and whispered, "Mara, what did you leave for us down there?" Smoke filled the hangar. The battle above was brutal. Kael'thar's fire clashed with the metal dragon's laser breath, turning the night into a storm of light and noise. Alara covered her ears as the floor shook. She knew she couldn't help Kael'thar with weapons, but maybe she could help in another way. The message on the monitor repeated again and again. "Mara protocol active. Sublevel access required." She took a deep breath, grabbed a flashlight, and ran toward the maintenance lift. Sparks rained from the ceiling as the elevator doors opened. The moment she stepped inside, another explosion threw her to the floor, but she pressed the button anyway. The doors closed, and the lift began to descend. Below the surface, the air grew cold. Dust covered everything. The deeper she went, the more she felt something, like a heartbeat echoing through the metal walls. When the doors opened, she found herself in a forgotten laboratory. Broken glass, old computers, and a giant pod stood at the center of the room. Its surface was covered in dragon-scale patterns, glowing faintly. A soft voice came from the shadows. "So, you made it, Alara Quinn." Alara spun around. A figure stepped forward, a human, or at least something that looked human. His body was part metal, part flesh, his eyes faintly blue. "Who are you?" she whispered. He smiled sadly. "I am Project Keeper 09. I was created by your ancestor, Dr. Mara Quinn, to guard this place." Alara's voice trembled. "Then what is this lab? What did she do here?" The Keeper looked at the glowing pod. "She built the seed, a memory code stored inside the oldest dragons. It holds the truth about how humans nearly destroyed themselves, and how the dragons saved us." Alara's eyes widened. "The seed? It's inside Kael'thar?" The Keeper nodded. "Yes, and those machines above want it. If they take it, they will erase everything, every memory of the bond between your species and his." A loud crash echoed above them. The ceiling shook. The Keeper's eyes flashed red. "They've breached the upper level. You must awaken the seed before they reach here." He pointed at the pod. "Place your hand on it. Only a descendant of Mara Quinn can activate it." Alara hesitated for a second, then pressed her palm against the pod's surface. The room lit up. The dragon-scale patterns flared like molten metal. The pod opened slowly, releasing a beam of light that shot upward through the ceiling, connecting straight to Kael'thar. Far above, in the hangar, Kael'thar roared as his body was filled with the energy of 1,000 memories. Ancient voices, human and dragon together, echoing as one. "The bond has been restored," a voice whispered inside his mind. But at that same moment, the enemy's fleet began to descend in full force. The real war was just beginning. The sky burned red. The storm of metal dragons filled the air like a swarm of shadows, their blue lights flickering across the ruins of the base. Kael'thar's wings trembled under the weight of the seed's power now flowing through him. His eyes glowed brighter than ever, gold mixed with fire. Far below, Alara watched through the cracked screens as the beam of light from the pod joined with Kael'thar. The whole mountain shook. The Keeper 09 stood beside her, his voice calm yet filled with urgency. "The seed has awakened, but it needs both of you to survive, dragon and human together." Alara looked up. "What do I have to do?" "Go to him," the Keeper said. "He can't hold it alone." The lift was broken, so Alara climbed the emergency ladder. Her hands bled, her lungs burned, but she didn't stop. When she reached the surface, the hangar was half destroyed. Kael'thar was locked in combat with 3 mechanical dragons, their metal claws digging into his wings. "Kael'thar!" she shouted. He heard her voice and turned his massive head. For a moment, his pain faded. "Alara, the seed, it's too much. I can't." "You can," she said firmly. "You're not alone." She ran toward him as explosions shook the ground. One of the metal dragons aimed its cannon at her, but Kael'thar swung his tail, smashing it aside with a roar that split the air. Alara reached him and placed her hand on the glowing mark on his chest. The light spread instantly, wrapping both of them in a golden aura. Suddenly, she could see, not with her eyes, but through his memories. She saw the ancient alliance between dragons and humans, the wars they fought side by side, the day it all fell apart. She felt his sorrow, his loneliness, his pride, and he felt her courage. Together, their voices echoed as one. "We are the bond reborn." The golden light exploded outward, covering the battlefield. The metal dragons froze mid-air, their systems overloaded. The beam of energy from Kael'thar's heart shot upward, cutting through the clouds and into orbit. Above the planet, the enemy mothership, the source of the machines, cracked in two and burned like a dying star. Silence followed. Only the sound of the wind remained. Alara opened her eyes. She was lying beside Caelther, his massive form still and quiet. For a moment, she feared the worst. Then one great golden eye blinked open. He smiled, weak but alive. The seed is safe. Because of you. Tears filled her eyes. No, Caelther. Because of us. The clouds parted, and sunlight fell on the broken battlefield. The ancient bond between dragons and humans, lost for centuries, had finally returned. And somewhere in the fading light, a faint voice whispered, the echo of Mara Quinn. The future is yours now. Protect it together.